If someone suddenly pulls away from you like this, their feelings for you are still very strong. And I need you to hear that again. When they disappeared, when they went silent, when they built walls where windows used to be, it wasn't because they stopped feeling. It's because they felt too much. And somewhere deep in their chest, in that place where fear lives right next to longing, they made a choice. Not to lose you, to survive you. Because here's the truth nobody prepares you for. The people who run the fastest are often the ones who wanted to stay the most. They're not running from you. They're running from the version of themselves that needs you. From the terror of wanting something their heart remembers losing before. You're sitting there replaying conversations, searching for the moment it broke. But it didn't break. It just got too real. And real feels like danger when you've learned that closeness comes with consequences. So if you're confused, if it feels like they cared and then vanished, stay with me. Because what I'm about to show you will change how you see everything that happened. Sign 1. They pulled away the moment your eyes met theirs and they couldn't pretend anymore. You know that moment? When the laughter faded and something heavier settled between you. When they looked at you and you could feel them seeing you. Not the version you showed the world of the one underneath, the one that hopes. And right after that, right when the air changed and the connection became undeniable, they left. Not physically at first, emotionally. They stopped texting the way they used to. Their words got shorter, safer, emptier. Because intimacy without armor feels like standing naked in a room full of mirrors. And they couldn't bear what they saw. Sign 2. They're still there, just quieter. You feel it, don't you? The way they're present but not present. How they watch your life from the corners. A late-night story view. A reaction that comes 3 days later. They haven't forgotten you. They've just forgotten how to reach for you without their hands shaking. And here's the part that breaks my heart every time I see it happen. Sign 3. Your absence makes them restless in ways your presence never did. You stopped chasing. You gave them the space they asked for without asking for. And suddenly, they can't sit still. A text at 2 a.m. that says nothing important. Question about something they already know the answer to. An excuse wrapped in casual words because they didn't want you gone. They wanted the fear gone. And now that you're not filling the silence is filling with all the things they're not saying. Sign 4. You still live in their body. The way their energy shifts when your name comes up. How their face changes when someone mentions you in passing. The split second before they remember to look unaffected. You're not a memory they've filed away. You're a feeling they're carrying. It shows in how they react to your happiness. How they soften when they see you hurting. How they can't fully celebrate or grieve anything about you because both require distance they don't actually have. And if you're feeling this in your bones right now, stay with me because I need you to understand something. What you're experiencing isn't confusion. It's clarity dressed in contradiction. And if you want to understand the full psychology of why people leave when they want to stay, subscribe because I decode the language of emotional avoidance every week here. Hit that button. And if this is already touching something tender in you, type the word felt in the comments. Just that word. So I know you're here and you're not alone in this. Now let's go deeper. Sign 5. The reason they gave you doesn't match the reason they left. They said they're overwhelmed with work, but their calendar hasn't changed. They said they need to find themselves, but they're not looking. They're hiding. They handed you an explanation that sounds reasonable enough to accept. Because the real reason, the one that lives under their ribs and keeps them awake, is too vulnerable to say out loud. I'm terrified of how much I want this. I don't know how to need someone without losing myself. I've been hurt before, and I can't do it again. Those words feel like surrender. So they gave you something easier. Something that lets them leave without having to admit they wanted to stay. Sign 6. Time passed, but you didn't. Weeks of silence. Maybe months. And then something small happens, and you realize they remember everything. The name of your childhood dog. The thing you're afraid of that you mentioned once. The dream you shared at 3 a.m. that you assumed they forgot. They didn't forget. They cataloged it. Because when someone matters, Your brain doesn't file them away. It archives them. Every detail, every word, every moment your guard was down. They're not thinking about you less. They're thinking about you quietly in the spaces between. Distraction. In the moments before sleep, you're the name that almost comes up in therapy. The feeling they can't explain to new people. Sign 7. Their distance has weight to it. You can feel the effort it takes. The way their messages sound like they're written by someone trying very hard not to say what they mean. There's tension in the restraint, heaviness in the space between words, because indifference is light, indifference floats, but this has gravity. And what that gravity is pulling them toward is something they're not ready to face yet. Sign 8. They ran when it stopped being casual, not in the beginning when things were easy. Not when it was just attraction and late nights and expectations. They ran when you became important, when your absence started to matter, and they caught themselves thinking about a future, and it didn't scare them, and then it did. Because fear doesn't show up when things are shallow. Fear shows up when depth is real. When someone with wounds looks at you and thinks, I could fall completely, and that thought, that possibility, that hope, feels like the most dangerous thing they've ever considered. So they left. Not because they don't love you, because they do. And love without trust in its permanence feels like holding a grenade with the pin half pulled. They're not protecting themselves from you. They're protecting themselves from the devastation of losing you later, from needing you and watching you leave, from being that vulnerable and that breakable again. So they left. First, while they still could, while it only hurt instead of destroyed. And here's what I need you to understand. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't love incorrectly. You didn't ask for too much. You just existed honestly in front of someone who spent years learning to exist carefully. And your honesty reminded them of what they've been protecting themselves from. The possibility of something real. This isn't about logic. It's about survival patterns written in childhood. About hearts that learn to close before they could break. About people who want connection but only know how to prepare for abandonment. And you can hold space for that. You can understand it. You can have compassion for the fear, but you cannot heal it for them. That's their work. And while you're holding space, you need to hold yourself too. Because understanding why someone left doesn't mean standing in the doorway waiting for them to come back. You're allowed to grieve this, to feel the loss of what could have been, to be angry that fear won when love was right there. And you're allowed to decide that you need someone who stays, not someone who runs and then misses you from a distance. So yes, their feelings for you are still strong. You were right about that. But strength of feeling and strength of presence are not the same thing. And you deserve both. You deserve someone who feels deeply and shows up anyway, who gets scared and talks about it, who wants to run and chooses to stay. So here's your next step. Stop decoding their silence. Start listening to your own. What is your heart telling you underneath the hope? What do you need that you're not saying out loud? Write it down. Not what you wish they could give. What you actually need to feel safe, seen, chosen. Then look at the distance between that and what's happening. That distance is your answer. Not their potential. Not the moments when it felt right. The reality of right now. If this touched you, if you felt seen here, share this with someone who's still holding on. And tell me in the comments, which sign made you stop breathing for a second? I read every word you write. You're not alone in this, and I'll see you in the next one.